We're getting started in a few minutes, folks. Switch devices so I can share this out. All right. We're about to get started, ladies and gentlemen. One more second. I just want to finish my drink. Drop. All right, folks. Yo, 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 yo. I'm going to keep going over this music and then I'm going to get started. It's your boy, the insurance junkie, your fiduciary fellow, the all-star advisor Alonzo Hall, registered financial consultant, your social media insurance bro, looking like the Frank Lucas of finance right now. And today, let me pause this music. Hold on. Today, as you can see, is Protect Your Neck Part 2. So I have a special guest that should be coming in a few moments, and we're going to be talking about, again, some of the things in the financial services arena that, excuse me, are very imperative to be discussed. Why are they very imperative to be discussed? Because you have a lot of claims being made and a lot of people who are being brought into this industry under false pretenses. And not only does that do harm to the people who are representatives, that does harm to the people who are um, attempting to get to be that does harm to clients. What do I mean when I say that? Well, if you are a client or a potential client and you're in a position where someone gets into this industry under false pretenses and learns things the wrong way, that could be harmful for you. You see, time is the one resource that we can't remanufacture. Time is a limitless resource, but to people, it is a limited resource. Let me say that again. And I think I'm going to retitle my. In fact, let me edit this because I'm going to retitle this as Time, the Limitless Time. The limitless yet limited resource. Because time is the only limited but limitless resource. Okay? And what do I mean when I say that? Is that people's time can get taken from them by getting put in these terrible situations. So when I say these terrible situations, what I'm talking about is um, people being mistrained or put into positions that they don't have then the time to recover from because of bad financial advice, if you will. So, before I continue, I want to introduce my special guest here, Mr. Billy. He is a COO, he's a compliance officer, and a financial advisor. He's a superior intellect. I could gush so much more, but it won't do him justice. So I'm going to pause and let my great friend speak. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing well. Happy New Year, my brother. Um,
Same to you, brother.
I see you're already off to an amazing start here in 2026. And, you know, we could talk about credentials all day long, but the number one thing that I love about what you do, you bring it to people real, it's raw, and you deliver so much exceptional value. The intelligent people in the room, they already know. And I picked that up immediately when I met. How long has it been?
It's been a while. It's been shorter than we think, but longer than we think too.
Right. You just bring it. And I love the thing that you say, like, people don't challenge you to challenge you. They challenge you to challenge. Like, I love that. I love
Thank
it.
you.
Like, because I remember you were talking, I think just the other day when I was scrolling on your, and I think I shared it. You were talking about how you have some individuals, um, not even going to give that company the, anyways, how they're saying, trash value and all this kind of, stupid stuff. But then it's the same person that's going to sell somebody a house. It's building up equity. Is like, are you calling the equity in the house trash? No, of course not. Of course not.
Exactly.
Like, you're talking out of the side of your mouth. Like, it's hilarious. But yeah, man, anytime you're having something, I fully support it because I know you're about that business and getting these people to work.
Absolutely. On the other app, the clock app, I intend to do some lives too. I did one the other day. I give me 1 second. I got to reply to a text. My mother is texting me.
No problem.
Sorry about that. Gotta keep in touch with the moms.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
If you guys still have them, make sure to hold them tight and love them. Um,
Absolutely.
but so I will be inviting you and myself and Deontay. Deontay has challenged me to be, I guess, a little more elitist, if you will. And he said, I basically said, no longer will you allow some of those randoms up on your panels. Um,
Oh, definitely.
he was like, they might not like it, but so what? He said, because there are, people of our caliber who may not have gotten connected with people of our caliber. And he said, and I don't want other people coming and tarnishing what you're doing. So I was like, well, thank you. um, I didn't even realize that I had people like you and Deontay in my corner the way that you are. Um,
1000%. And there's probably another 500 people that you don't even know about.
absolutely.
You know why, Alonzo?
I'd love to know why.
Because when you're elevating, it causes two reactions. It attracts people or it repels ones. The ones that repels, good. Don't need you in there anyways.
Right.
I like to speak to owners. It's a different conversation when you're speaking to an owner versus a W-2 wage earner who hasn't created any wealth. We're not talking
Absolutely.
about trading time for money. Different group. God bless people who do it, but that's not it. Not right here. No.
Mm-mm, not at all.
Because if
And
you don't
listen,
even understand the separation of your revenue from your time, again, we are not the same. We're not even in the same universe.
so true. And I love that. And one thing before you go in, because I know you've got some information, so I definitely want to hyper focus on what you're talking about. But one of the things, especially in the black community, I consider myself a quote unquote self proclaimed black supremacist. Doesn't mean that I have I'm anti anyone else. And I should always explain what I believe a true supremacist is. A true supremacist wants those that he is going against to be at their apex best and or with an advantage against him. So when he dominates, he shows his true supremacy. And that's just my personal belief in terms of what I've done. And what a lot of those in my circle have done.
Yeah.
Does that mean that we want to diminish anyone else? No, but it just means that we want to be the best. Give
Well, of
me one
course,
second.
pigeons don't fly with eagles.
Exactly.
You're an apex predator. Embrace it.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
times like
surprisingly, I don't see a bunch of people watching right now, but that's because this was a random live. But I'm sure a bunch of people will come through. I saw about 3 or 5 already.
yeah, because that's even like one of the things. Because I got different platforms. I got some that just we're talking about whatever, and then I'm passionate about the law. So when I know, it's like here's the thing: when I know I'm 100% right about something, and you're sitting there saying no, it's this and this and that, it's like if that's true, just show me the documentation of it.
Yeah, but see, the
Let's get
maritime
into it.
law of the Trade Commission of the UCC, my uncle's parrot said that this jurisdiction is prudish just and limited knowledge of the human of the trust of
Right. And the thing is, Alonzo, if they actually shut up and listen, it's like I'm actually trying to help you before you get embarrassed, cost you money, somebody goes to jail from doing this thing that you think is actually how it works when I'm telling you that's not how it works. And
crazy.
I don't know what it is, but it's like they have this block in their mind. There's like, no, I read it online by this guy. He says exclusive equity, and I've got all my Bible verses, and that judge is going to listen to me. I'm like, okay.
Well, you tell me how that plays out for you, buddy.
Now you
um,
guys got a 0% winning, 0% record of winning. So you'll be the less than 1% if that actually happens, which I know it won't. Which is pretty much laughable. Like, seriously. Um,
Yeah.
and the other thing, Alonzo, when I read some of the comments, I'm like, why are you spending so much time in traffic court? Like, what are you doing behind the wheel?
Yeah, that's a good question because you're doing something that's making them pull you over.
I don't know if you're trying to tell somebody I'm private, like it's like if you're an auto enthusiast and let's say you like music, and then you went and got, I don't know. So back in the 1900s, there was a company called JL Audio. I'm dating myself. And then we had this other company, again from the 1900s, called Pioneer. We used to have
Oh
these
man,
things called tape decks, and you could push a button, the face of it would come off so it looked like you didn't have a radio. Remember that? It might be before your time. I'm not sure.
I do remember those.
So whenever you would buy the radio, the speakers, they would come with the little stickers. Hey, put this decal in your car. I was like, no. We used to call them "Still Me" stickers. Why?
Hmm.
Because why would you be advertising for what's inside your vehicle so that some knucklehead can go, oh, he's got this new JL Audios, which at the time, again, this is back in the 1900s. I want to say I was paid like maybe 500 for each subwoofer or something like that. Amplifier, you're talking about another thousand. The whole setup, probably about $2,000-3,000. Why would you be advertising? Hey, come steal my stuff.
Yeah.
So if you have these wild, crazy ideas that you can do this and that, then you go into the public domain, and then you're gonna go put some illegal, funky license plate in your car. What do you think is gonna happen?
You're sending a signal. Hey, come stop me.
Right. You would have been better off not having anything on there and then going and doing whatever you're doing. I'm just saying.
That's very true. Um, I definitely think that's accurate. Um, just as Shar, what's going on? Happy New Year. Glad to see you here. So myself and my partner Billy here, we are going to be going in on a few things. So one of the things I was talking about was the damage, and Shar, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, excuse me, I'm still getting over this cold. I don't know, the cough won't go away.
You didn't try the
Um,
wellness drops?
I did. I actually got some from my uncle. He was in Indonesia. He came here because he had an issue with the Social Security, and he brought all this stuff with him. And ironically enough, the camel was one of the things.
There you go.
Um, so I was
Keep
like, "Oh, cool.
yeah, keep
Hey,
keep
let me get a
taking it.
couple of those."
Keep taking it till symptoms persist. That is
Not
not
right.
medical advice. That's I'm telling you what I would do.
I got you. I got you. Um, and we put out these disclaimers because we are speaking in a public realm, and people will just, oh my god, he said this, he's trying to be a doctor, and he's not. It's just a recommendation or a suggestion, not even a recommendation.
Yep.
um so again, and this is part of the reason that I said time is the limitless yet limited resource, because there are so many things. But Shar, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you were studying for your insurance license, and both myself and Billy are in the industry, and we see that these MLMs, I'm not even going to call them IMOs anymore, I'm just going to strictly call them MLMs, and I will name them. So you have, go ahead, Billy.
World Financial Gangster. Then
Right.
you got Inferior Financial Group.
Uh-huh.
You have Primerica
Mm-hmm.
or Limerica. I don't know whichever one you want to go with.
I call them Scam America.
I mean, that works too.
Yeah, GFI, WFG, PHP, FFL. There's two FFLs, by the way.
I did not know that.
So there is Family First Life,
Uh-huh.
right? And then there's another one, and they use Hancock, FinFit Life.
Wait, what's it called?
FinFit Life.
Huh. Interesting.
She says Limerica should have been at the top of the list. Um, so the one thing that I will give credit to Limerica is that they are actually an insurance company. And so what has happened is you have people in these other uh MLMs, and they're telling you things like, we're gonna go public. which is impossible because they have nothing proprietary. They have then said, well, we have technology and we're going to be a fintech company, which, okay, cool. Let's say that's true. What does that have to do with the licensed insurance agents who are with the company that aren't selling the technology? They do not benefit from the public or from the IPO of the technology because they're not selling the technology. So they have no claims or no rights to the technology company.
Right. And if you don't own the IP, you don't have an edge to give somebody a reason to come join you, which would create shareholder value to generate profits. You're on the
And
outside looking in.
absolutely. How do you like my photo? I call that my Frank Lucas of finance. I look like a gangster in that.
Looking good, man.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I figured I'd get some updated photos. So
That's how you do
yeah,
it. But
yeah.
yeah, no matter where you're at, like I tell people, like I've told, I don't know about you, so my background was, the Army radiology, from there. And what I would tell anybody, whatever license you have, leverage it, use it. They need you more than you need them, believe that or not. Pay attention to your terms and conditions. This is for educational and information purposes only. What I would strongly suggest, because we're at the beginning of 2026, start paying attention to your legal documents. If you are asked to pay, sign, do, not do anything, read it. If you don't understand the language, get it to your attorney, CPA, whoever, so that they can explain it to you in a language that you understand.
I
There's
completely
so
agree.
much that happens well past that. So you don't want to be getting hit later. You're like, well, you signed this agreement. Well, what agreement? Because people are just quick, they just check a box and that's it. No,
Mm,
not in this industry. You better not do that. If it comes to your money and tax, get it in writing, period.
absolutely. I
Don't
had a
take,
situation like that.
yeah.
Um, Ironically enough, with a big carrier.
Hmm.
Ironically enough, this carrier starts with P as well, but it's not Primerica. Ironically enough, it starts with a PRU. And I was getting ready to sign with them,
Hmm.
and I didn't have my license in California, but someone had brought me a lead. And this lady had a retirement account, about 400 grand, so on and so forth. So I brought it to who was going to be my principal, and I said, "Hey, listen, let's sit with the client, da 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 da." Da." And he was like, "Yeah, I'll pay you for it." And I was like, "Okay, can I get that in writing?" And because it didn't get gotten in writing, we ended up not converting that client and unfortunately not helping that client. But you have to protect your neck.
Absolutely.
And, on paper, she would have just totally been his client, totally in his hands, totally everything. And I'm the one who actually guided her, and he gave us, hey, I got option A, option B, option C. Okay, send it to me. I had the meeting with her. I showed her option A, option B, option C, helped her understand which one was what, the features, benefits, pros, cons of each, what fit with her ultimate goal, ultimately to make her make the decision to pick. I said, okay, well, she's ready to pick. Can I get that? You're going to pay me in writing? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's write it first. Nope.
He actually said that.
Yeah.
You got to be kidding. The unmitigated gall and audacity.
And at the time, I hadn't been contracted with them. Now, I did sign paperwork for LPL because 2 Novembers ago, LPL took over the AUM for Prudential.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I was unaware, and this is actually something that may be of interest to you. LPL has an insurance only arm.
Mm.
So you can reach out to LPL. Um, and this is not just for you specifically, but anyone who's in the insurance realm who may want to do their own thing, you can talk to LPL. And LPL is top tier when it comes to independent financial professionals. LPL and Schwab. But Schwab is, at least it still has that name that the consumer knows. The consumer doesn't particularly know LPL. Shit, the consumer doesn't know PIMCO, which is in just about everybody's 401k,
Hmm.
right? It's basically like the largest mutual fund in the world, or was the largest until, these other mega giants came around.
I got you. That's definitely something good to know.
Yeah. And I didn't know that until I got the paperwork to sign because they were going to have me sign. They wanted me to get 6 and 63. And that's another reason why I was like, no, I want 7 and 66. Sponsor me for that because you guys do full AUM and AUA. And if I have 6 and 63, that's not an investment license.
Nope,
7 is.
that's right.
Yeah.
You know, back
And
in
so,
the 1900s when I was working on getting my Series 7, um, because I was like, oh, securities. I started learning about stocks and started trading them, and I started trading options. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to Merrill. I had all these big ideas. I'm going to Merrill. I'm going to, I think Barney at the time was one of the
ooh, Smith
names.
Barney.
Yeah. But what I will tell you is, ran into some barriers, not because I wasn't qualified. It's because the room would have been a little bit dark, if you get what I'm saying.
Oh, I understand.
But I still learned the information anyways. And I can tell you, when I started doing the things that I learned, there were days where I'd bring in within less than an hour, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. And you can also lose 1,000, 2,000 in less than an hour.
Absolutely.
People always want to talk about the wins, but they don't talk to you about the loss. So at the time, I'd say the most money they lost in a day was probably about $2,000. And when I say a day,
Well,
it's really just a few hours because I would wake up early, watch CNBC. Again, back in the early 2000s,
mhm.
they had this
Squawk on
thing
the
called
street.
Investor Business Daily. I would read it, look at my numbers. The numbers look good. Boom, put my trade in. I was done before like 9 a.m. And I'd go about my day, go to the bank, go grab the
Uh,
check, the downtown Fort Worth, and I was good.
yeah,
I wasn't working for anybody. I was reading stock charts and going in cashing checks.
one of the best things ever. I actually, I have an affiliation with somebody who uh, is affiliated with the co-author of Millionaire Next Door, and we have some great talks. He was like, "Yeah, options is great, but you got to start small, a couple 100,000." I was like, "Start small, a couple 100,000." Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're talking on that magnitude to people on that magnitude, and we are people of that magnitude.
Hmm.
Um, and what we're doing when we have these conversations is we're trying to um, plant those seeds into people who want to grow um, to a certain level. And in this business, the riches are in the niches, right? So we're not saying that there's anything wrong with being W 2, working with W 2 people. Maybe it's just not our thing. I know that's not Billy's thing. Mine, I like to work with first responders, right? Firefighters, policemen, corrections officers. I
Hmm.
love working with them. They tend to, I don't know what it is about me. They are, for some odd reason, they feel comfortable with me. At least in Massachusetts, I have a bunch of guys in Mass who are in the prison system who, well, not in the prison system, but work for the prison system. And they eat it up. They love it. And word of mouth travels. They're talking in the break room, and then, hey, yeah, my buddy Bob told me to give you a call because you did something with this, and he's got retirement money and all this extra stuff. Yeah, we've got our pensions, but da 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 da. Da. And then just, hey, here you go, boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
But
You are exceptional at solving those problems.
Thank you.
Oh no,
So now,
thank yourself, man. You did all the work.
so now I know that you said you had some information, and so I definitely want to get to the tea. But before I get to the tea, I do want to break down, a couple of other things because I get confused as an entrepreneur all the time. I am not yet an entrepreneur. I am self-employed. Now, to be an entrepreneur is to be self-employed, but to be self-employed is not to be an entrepreneur. Are there things that cross over? Absolutely. Because to be self employed, you have to be willing to get out there and go do the work. But to be an entrepreneur, you have to be willing to go out there and get other people to do the work, which, in my opinion, is a lot harder because, oh my gosh, I have I try to keep my team limited. I
Mhm.
have about 10 agents. And I genuinely want to apologize to those agents because a few years ago when they became agents, or my agents, I wasn't where I am today. And had I had it to start over, I would have changed some things. I would have almost started slightly with, if you would call it the Primerica model, in terms of all they can sell is term because it's the simplest product. And then when they show me that they're efficient in their understanding and knowledge of other products, would I allow them to fly and sell other products? Because I have some who flew out the gate and were trying to sell IULs and just totally did the wrong thing. Luckily, I'm there to help them.
Yeah.
Um, but I see, especially when we look at again all those tricky lying companies, that it's not quite what we think it is. But I'm going to go ahead and pause and let you drop some science. Obviously, I'm going to interject. And ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share, share, share. Go ahead, brother.
So back to what you said about keeping your team, kind of lean. I like it because that's good. Because when you're out there solving these problems, you're doing your discovery, you're doing your qualifications, you're doing all the back office stuff, the stuff that you don't see because it's not public facing. Those are the things you got to really, really master because once you have that down, you're essentially creating that blueprint for success that can be modeled that you can then make some content, record it so you're not repeating some of those same things every time. Because you'll get to a point where you just automatically know and you just kind of get into the flow of things. And those people in your organization, they need to know those things just as well as you do. And the sooner you can get them to that, now you've duplicated it. And the reason why they'll do it was two reasons. Number one, because it's possible and it gets them to move from being the W-2 to that business owner who is earning from a different quadrant. Um, so I like that particular aspect, and especially what you said about learn what term is. 100,000%. Get really good at that. Um, and know your numbers. Know your clients' numbers. Know what their actual status is, which people don't talk about. Um, because you can have two different people making the same uh, top line amount, but if you're talking about a different status, one might have another $30,000, even though it looks like on paper they make the same amount of money.
Absolutely. I had a situation where I had a young lady who, and this was in Brooklyn, New York.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can imagine, New York City, specifically Brooklyn, is not cheap.
Nope.
And she had a grocery store in a nicer area of Brooklyn, that was pulling, I don't know, about 90K a month. Just because, only store in town, certain areas, swipes, cash, convenience, an upscale area, deli, this, that, and the third. And, when I went to go and do the discovery session with her, she had two homes. She had a boyfriend who was a corrections officer. They drove a brand new Lexus and a brand new BMW. She stayed in Tory Burch. She stayed in the, fashionable clothing.
Hmm.
Um, and she had two houses, technically three. One she was actually trying to offload. I was in a fix and flip company at the time, but I was also still doing the insurance. And um, she had all three houses were in foreclosure. So whilst pulling 90K a month, she was still underwater. And, the perception of her, everybody publicly, oh my God, she's got it. Look, she's always in Tory Burch. And I had to get her with a $75 a month term because she had two children. And I was like, look, you've got this stress. You've got this gangster ex boyfriend who's the father of your children. You've got this current boyfriend who's a corrections officer. Something can happen. And if something happens, especially when you've got a corrections officer as a current mate and a gangster as an ex mate, that's just a powder keg. And ironically enough, when I went over her numbers, I had to sit in her room for about 25 minutes alone because she ran into her bedroom and started crying. And me and her boyfriend were sitting there looking at each other like, uh, so I was like, you want to go get her so we can sign the paperwork? I mean, I'm not trying to be cold, but, you know, trying ain't going to solve the problem for those two children.
Yeah, you know why? Because nobody ever broke it down to her like that before.
Yeah. And I was like, everything looks great, but you're underwater. And that's a lot of Americans. So, I had to let her know, hey, listen, most folks live above their means because of keeping up with the Joneses. And, people, oh, you're doing this. You're supposed to, well, maybe from your $25,000 perspective and my $150,000 perspective, you're thinking of what you would do from your $25,000 life with $150,000, not from $150,000 life to a actual $150,000 life, which is probably trying to live $1 million life.
Yeah. How long ago was that, Alonzo?
That was in 2000, I want to say 15.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Does she still run the grocery store and all that?
No, she sold it. She sold it. She sold the house. I got her 80 grand, even though she was underwater. And they just took over the house. It was a, Jewish company that was doing it.
Uh,
Um, Yeah. And I actually became very friendly with those guys, and they told me so much stuff like how they get married under a prenuptial agreement, not the one that we normally know. And one guy, yeah, you should hear if you want to hear. We often in a lot of these places, we talk about how black folk talk on black folk. You should hear how Israeli folk talk on Israeli folk
mm,
because this guy was like, "Oh man, the worst thing in the world is a broker." And you know what's worse? An Israeli. And you know what's worse? An Israeli broker. I was like, "Geez, you are
wow.
Israeli, right?" He was like, "Yes."
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I bet you and him had some interesting conversations.
Oh man, we do. There was one. There's this one uh place in Brooklyn and it was guys I used to go hang out with, and when their property came across my desk, I went to warn them. I was like, "Yo, y'all, check it out. This is the situation. Work with me. I can try and get y'all some money for this, but y'all about to get going from this property." And then I had this other younger Jewish guy who was like, hey, he was trying to branch out on his own.
Hmm.
He got the life insurance, started his own fix and flip company. I was like, well, I'm not going to be loyal to this one company. I'm going to be loyal to my pockets. And, let's start up and do something together. So, he was offering a couple of thousand to the guys. And then the guys, they bailed out on us at the last minute, saying some Jewish guy was going to give him 100 grand. So I told it to him. I said, "Hey, Steve, yeah, they dropped out. They said they're going to give him 100 grand." He said, "A Jewish guy's going to give a black guy 100 grand?" I was, and then he said, no offense." I was like, "Bro, none taken. I understand. I'm in business. I don't take anything offensive. I get what you're saying. And do you think I don't know that there are different levels to this?" I said, "There's reasons why you hire black folk to go into the neighborhood and knock on the door. Because when they see your face, the price goes up. When they see my face, it doesn't." So I understand what you're talking about. But you would be giving this black guy 100 grand, but the average Jewish guy is not willing to give the average black guy 100 grand. I'm not the average. You, Billy, are not the average. Deontay is not the average. So there's levels to it.
There are. In fact, I'll even take that a step further. I'm an American. The only color I see is green. And
Ooh,
as the president of America's Chamber, Allen, I will tell you, you truly don't know what you don't know. And there are people that you're connected to right now that you can go to that next level. And it's not a sales pitch, it's literally solving those different problems. Because the reality is, we have the numbers. And when you
yeah,
have the numbers, guess what? That's where the money is.
that's where the money is.
Regardless of what you see on the TV, and you got all these talking, like, you got people waiting instead of taking the action.
Yeah,
There's three things that are critical. I don't care where you're at in life, and I learned this from one of my mentors. Shout out to Zabo. His name is Zabian. I think you were on one of his live platforms. Shout out to him. Um, and I'll just tell you, when I started applying some of the concepts that he talks about, which is, you have to think, you do your research, take action. If you do those three things, I don't care what industry you're in, I don't care if you're unemployed, I don't care what it is. If you do those three things, there is no way that you're going to fail. No way.
absolutely.
Because the question that you have, it starts there. Do the real research. I'm not just saying, oh, I went on Google. Do the research, talk to professional. Well, I want to do X, Y, Z. Okay, who do I know that's already doing that? Go talk to the person. Go, just go talk to them. Well, how do I start the conversation? It, Hi, my name is Billy. I really admire what you do. You mind taking, say, a Tuesday, whatever day it is, and let's go have lunch? Sure. Most people, if you give them an opportunity at a nice place, they'll go and sit there and have lunch with you. They will.
Absolutely.
I've probably done it hundreds of times. And the way you get to know people is, you get to know people. And when they actually know who you are, what you actually do, and you get to learn more about them, there's this funny thing that happens. You start to form a relationship. And far too often, people are looking for the transaction instead of building the relationship. You
Yeah,
can do transactions all day long, but if you don't have it based off a solid foundation, to me, it's kind of pointless.
understood.
Um, like what we're doing, this isn't because you know, it is not. It ain't about the money. It's not. And actually, I'm not affiliated with your companies. You're not affiliated with any of mine. But guess what? We have a great relationship. I have
Absolutely.
somebody that needs something. Guess who I send them to? Hey, there's Alonzo right there. Go take care of it, because I know the best of the best for that thing, and I know he's going to go knock it out of the park. It's that simple. Like, I don't do PNC. That's property and casualty. I just connect with the people that do, and I give them all the business that they need.
I used to do PNC, and that, man, I see so many horror stories. I had a excuse me. I had a buddy who recently, and he with State Farm, he
Mhm.
had a fire, And he was like, "Yo, man, I know you in the insurance, this, that, and the third. Um, why they only give me $20,000? This is more than $100,000 worth of damage."
Mhm.
I don't know. What kind of policy did you have? Homeowners. That's not when you had the policy. Was it, actual cash value, replacement cost, depreciating? Then, when you actually purchased it, what kind of materials did they insure? Did they insure economy, basic, upscale, luxury? Right? Most people go for the cheapest price. And the
Mhm.
problem is when you go for the cheapest price, I guarantee you that insurance agent said that your building was built with economy materials. Why? Because that's going to be the cheapest to insure and the cheapest to replace. Meanwhile, you've got marble, floors and golden ceilings. Well, now when that burns down and you're like, hey, you're only giving me 20 grand and that's enough for 2 feet of these marble floors. Insurance is a scam. No, you scammed yourself by looking for the cheapest price. People have to stop looking at cost and look at value, right? And or not just cost, but worth, right? What is this worth versus how much does this cost? Because often you're going to lose if you just look at cost versus value or worth. Is it worth it to pay $11,000 a year for my homeowner's insurance, but God forbid I get a fire, they're gonna actually rebuild my house with marble floors, with the electronic automatic heating floors and the solid gold ceilings, or am I gonna pay the least cost and pay $1,000 a year? But now, if the house burns down, they're gonna build it back with plywood.
Right. And that's actually, Alonzo, I have a question for the people watching here. Can you explain what RFC means and how would somebody how would they see if they could work with you?
So RFC is a registered financial consultant. So I joined the association, the International Association of Registered Financial Consultants. There's testing and obviously fees and things you got to pay to uh, join that. And then you actually have to take an ethics exam as well. And then you can actually use the registered trademark on your name. To work with me is very similar, just like with any other financial professional. I do, however, charge a fee. Anywhere from on the low end $250, on the high end $2,500, which is still generally less than the CFP for a one time. So on average, I charge $1,000. Um, I do have an agreement that I send out to you. You don't have to pay it up front. I prefer you pay it up front, but you don't have to. I can send you a bill, and all of that is in the paperwork that I send to you. But reach out through multiple channels that I have. I actually need to update my website and make that and republish that, which I will do. Um, but I get a lot of people who work with me through word of mouth and a lot of people who work with me through here this YouTube channel. You'd be surprised how many people who are watching who are my clients.
So I have so another question. What's the difference between uh, registered financial consultant and what you alluded to, the CFP?
So the CFP is technically considered the gold standard in the financial services world. It's called a certified financial planner. Basically, what they've done is there is the CFP board. Generally, they have taken a hefty exam
Mhm.
and hefty coursework that goes deep diving into more of the investment side of things. And there's actually a credential above the CFP, which is the CHFC, Chartered Financial Consultant, which is actually an additional course above the 7 courses of the CFP. However, the CFP requires you to have a collegiate degree. And yes, thank
Gotcha.
you, Char.
Then what's a CLU?
So the CLU is a chartered life underwriter, and that is actually a step below. It's 3 courses less than the CFP.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
Well, I like the one that you have, that credential.
The RFC.
Oh yeah. I didn't know what it was until that day we were talking and you were I think you had made a post when I think I asked you about that.
Yes. And then the other one actually that I was looking to get, and I actually have to take the test again. It's a long test. It's 5 books, and then you have to take the test on all 5 books in one setting.
Mhm.
And I didn't pass the first time I took it, but JFK failed the bar 7 times, right? Um,
Right. So
so
you can
it's.
actually huh?
Go ahead. Ask your question.
Yeah, just another question. So you can actually give financial advice?
I mean, yes.
So if somebody had questions about stocks, you'd be able to talk to them about that or whatnot.
To the scope of where I can, yes. But because I don't have my securities license, I generally avoid that. But yes, I can, as long as you have knowledge on it. Even if you just have your insurance license, and this is a misconception that a lot of securities professionals put out there, that because you don't maintain a securities license, you can't talk about securities, which is untrue. You
Right.
just can't recommend or get paid a commission off of the sale of a securities product.
So you're
But
telling me that there is a differentiation and there are some things that even a licensed agent can talk about on securities products. The reason why I'm saying that because
Mhm,
you got a lot of them, they're real quick to this goes back to what you're talking about with term and other different products. And they
mhm.
love to, for whatever reason, they like to say, well, they're just a salesman or they're not licensed for the securities of XYZ. That's why they're making the recommendation of this particular product, which to me, why are you comparing a licensed financial professional to a car salesman? Like that's probably one of the most ridiculous things that I hear these so-called fiduciaries saying, as if because you have an extra credential, that somehow makes you more qualified. It doesn't. It
So they say
absolutely
that
doesn't.
because what happens is, for lack of a better term, it's the magpie effect. So the consumer generally doesn't know what we know. And so the consumer sees, well, if you only have this license, then you can only sell this, then you don't know everything that this other person knows, and they don't understand that. So I also have to preface this. Obviously, having, more than 15 years in this business, you do continuing education. As time goes, once you get past 10 years and you start doing more CE, they start throwing in FINRA stuff in your insurance only CE.
Hmm.
And so you start to get an understanding of other stuff. And this is how you start going down the rabbit hole of advanced markets.
Hmm.
So the things that you're talking about, you've already got a head start in talking about a lot of this stuff. You'll notice as you go through your CE, it starts to get exposed more. They start to talk about LERPs. They start to talk about BOLI. They start to talk about COLI. They start to talk about, collateral assignments. For example, an SBA 7 loan, you have to get a collateral assignment life insurance,
Hmm.
right? And guess what? You can't use a term policy for a collateral assignment. So when people are saying, I see no use for permanent life insurance, I
Uh,
question those that they're working with, especially when they claim to work with HNW or UHNW, high net worth and
right.
ultra high net worth.
And that's where you absolutely got them because you know why? There is no way, absolutely no way that they've ever dealt with wealth. Because if you understand the things that we understand, and for you to suggest that this entire solution, you just boop, eliminated it from
Mhm.
existence. Why? Because you don't deal with it. We know you
Absolutely.
don't deal with it because at the highest levels, they all have it for different reasons.
Absolutely.
I've literally, and I'll just tell you, I've literally been there, like, got the phone call. He said, hey, I need a $12 million blankety blank blank blank. It's a requirement from the bank.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even them. The bank is the one told them that they need to have that much. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There, when you say that there's levels to this, there truly is. Because I got a call, I put in place their PNC with a trusted broker that I know. We handled all the life stuff, and when I say all of it, I mean all of it. Because they're not just getting it, oh, because they're trying to invest the difference. No, it's I have this company, we're acquiring this asset, we're acquiring this asset. This asset is growing. I might be wanting to sell this one. My business partner is doing that. I need to protect myself. The bank says I have to do like there's all these different dynamics in there. It has
And
nothing it has nothing to do with well, there's a fee. Guess what? When you're and here's the people don't talk about this enough. You said you charge $1,000. Guess what?
yeah.
That's a business expense. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure you've never had a conversation trying to explain to somebody why working with you, which is a beneficial asset to them, you've never had to explain that. The price is the price. They paid it. Boom. It was a line item and they knew what they were getting point blank.
Yes.
Because in this world, you convert you convert that expense into an income. And if I can pay $1,000 and get your 15 years of experience doing all of those things without me having to do it, that's not even a question. To have access to somebody to do
Absolutely.
that. Business owners that get it. And
Yeah.
in case somebody doesn't know,
Absolutely.
that'd be tax code one, I think it's 162, business expense.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually costing them more money if they don't do it. No, seriously.
That it is.
Who else is showing in this, Alonzo?
No one. And
You better
it,
than
it
me because
also
I would
takes
look. You
no, go
better than
ahead.
me because I would not be doing that for $1,000. I'd probably be hitting them up for 5 or 10.
Yeah, well, so the RFC agreement that I have in the IARFC, I have to there's limits to what I can do. Um and so another credential that I'm going after is the CRC, which is Certified Retirement Counselor. And so
Okay.
this is why it's important to be a student of the game, because when you're studious and you start understanding the world that you're in or the realm that you're in, you understand that there's so many different areas and avenues. Prime example, when they say investment license, we'll say that the Series 6 is technically it is an investment license because it allows you to sell packaged securities. So packaged investments, right? And limited securities, right? But there are 17 FINRA licenses.
Mhm.
17, right?
That's a
Do you
lot.
know the FINRA license that actually, when a person holds that license, they're apt to make the most money in this field?
Is it the 4?
No, 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 no. Even though that is a what is that? Forex and derivatives and so there's the 3, the 34, and the 4, which is forex, dividends, derivatives, um, commodities, right? Um, but it's actually the Series 79. So the Series 79 is an investment banker's license. There you're
Oh,
dealing with M&As. I
say
actually
less.
have a
Say
bunch.
less. You didn't even. you, yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no, no, no. You had
So
me at
yeah,
investment banker.
yeah, investment banker. Wait, investment and banker combined? Yes. Uh, so the Series 79, I'm working on. I just finished my script for it because when I do a lot of my pre-records, I tend to have a little bit of ADHD, so I like to script it so I can stay focused on one thing. Um, and I just finished the script for there's a YouTube channel. I think it's IBC Global, and he was talking about he had an M&A manager who, if you're an M&A manager, you're an investment banker, meaning you have your 79, and I believe it's the Series 10. I can't recall. It might be the Series 9 or something like that.
Mhm.
One of those series allows you to manage. And he was like, he heard stuff about cash value life insurance. So he went to the guy and he was like, yeah, I heard all this stuff about cash value life insurance. Da, 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 da. He was like, yeah. And then the guy had to go do research because even though he does M&A, life insurance is the industry in financial services that actually makes the most money, right? And the individuals who get paid the most are those M&A or those 79 holders, but the companies that make the most are the insurance companies, right?
Mhm.
And he had to do a boatload of research. He was like, well, before I do this, I want to do a boatload of research. And he was like, well, what do you know about insurance? You're in financial services. You should know something. And most securities license holders who only hold securities licenses know bupkis about insurance. And he decided to put $2 million plus into the whole life insurance policy. Now, you know who else? Uh, who else put $2 million a year into a life insurance policy? Michigan University for Jim Harbaugh.
Yep.
And we look at, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just agreeing with you.
We look at Jim Harbaugh. I mean, I'm sorry. We look at Odell Beckham Jr., who was, I want my money in crypto. Should have got the money in insurance or an annuity. There's apparently a baseball player for the Dodgers. I believe it's Shohei Ohtani, who was like, pay me a bunch of my money in annuities. To those who are anti-annuity, guess what? Yeah, it's not going to be a bazillion dollars that he's going to get every year from that annuity. But when he retires from baseball and decides to start annuitizing, he's going to get paid for life. He will never run out of money. He will never stop receiving money.
Yeah.
Because, for lack of a better term, an annuity is a self funded pension.
Right. And I saw a lot of them, those pro athletes, where they're asking, "Hey, I want to be paid in crypto and whatnot."
Yeah, a lot of them. A
But
whole lot of them.
so, so my response to that is, if you do not have a professional to guide you, I'm going to say, don't do it professionally. Do it professionally because you can be involved with crypto and get paid while you're getting paid, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. And you don't have to risk your actual capital to be involved with that. So if you're going to take, again, and this all goes back to the insurance, if you're going to play the crypto game, sit down with somebody like you, somebody like me, so that you're not risking your actual capital and yet you're still going to make money, whether your actual investment makes money or not. Don't you, would you agree that that'd be a better position? If I said, Alonzo, I can show you where you can get 100% returns, 0% risk of your capital. Or you can risk your capital and possibly go to zero. Which one sounds more appealing to you? Oh, and
100% returns.
before you answer that, Alonzo, there are fees that you will pay up front. But once you pay those initial fees, you're done.
Yeah,
And by the way, the funds that you can get into, they actually beat Bitcoin. Is that something you'd be interested in?
absolutely. And I actually need to route back to the other thing we're talking about. But that we'll do offline. That thing
Oh,
you sent me.
yeah, I said that to say this. There truly are levels to this game. No, I'm not a securities license, but I am a chamber president.
So it's safe to say, I'm sure that there's someone who's securities licensed in affiliation with the chamber.
Absolutely. And you have people like me who know these people, who know these people, who know these people. One of the things that I am proud to say is our favorite color is green. Don't care if you're an R or a D, melanated or not, we will help you win.
Because at the end of the day, money is what spends.
Right. We do what the wealthy people are doing. Find a solution and go with it. You want to go to South America? I'm your guy. You want to go somewhere in Africa? And when I say go, I don't mean literally go. I mean you can, but I'm talking about on the business aspect of it. You can
Yep,
conduct business in several countries besides the one that you're in, legally, of course.
absolutely. I
Um,
actually witnessed that and ended up having to do that. I had to talk to some financial advisors in Colombia um, because a client of mine was purchasing a hotel,
mhm.
and um, he brought me the pitch deck and everything, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay, I need to speak to, who's managing this fund. Oh, there's this young lady. She's da 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 da. Okay, well, get her on WhatsApp. Let's have a call. Let's talk. And I forgot what they call it in Colombia, but it's the equivalent of the SEC here. And she was like, "Oh, everything's compliant." Da, 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 da. She sent it to me. I converted it to English, read it. Boom. I was like, "Okay, here you go. Here's your money." Well, I didn't hand him his money. Here, sign this paperwork. We'll get your money out of the account. You'll put it there, and he's already put the money back because he took it from an annuity.
Mm.
And so that was amazing. um in just you know
What was your biggest takeaway from doing the first one like that?
um there were a few, but my largest takeaway was you have to be open um to working with anyone, number one. And as cliche as it sounds, you do catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. So I although I'm raw, um I'm very tactical.
Right.
Um, and my biggest takeaway was that when your client trusts you, you sky's the limit.
You hit the nail on the
Because
head.
yeah, like this guy, I was funny. I said, listen, I don't care if he's getting a $40 over under from a streetwalker. He's gonna call me and be like, "Hey, Alonzo, is this streetwalker worth?" you know?
That's funny.
Yeah. And then I'm like, well, are you gonna jiggle? And what is she gonna do? If she's not gonna jiggle the balls, then it's not worth it.
Give me 1 minute, Alonzo. I gotta
Sure.
I'm signing out here in the office. One moment. But I'm listening though. You can keep talking.
No worries. Well, I actually am gonna get ready to close out because I do have to make that run with the wife. But I do wanna we will be doing this again, ladies and gentlemen. And more frequently. Also check me out on the Clock Act, the Tickety Top. Um, because I'm going to be over there trying to do more educational stuff. Here I have fun. Obviously, I do a lot of educational stuff. Here's more long form, whereas the Clock app is more short form. And I'll be doing both. So, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate it. And if you haven't, please click on and go follow Billy as well. I'm getting ready right now, babe.
You say you're jumping off?
Say again?
You say you're getting off now?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to close out.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good. And we'll
Yeah,
definitely
the
will be
wife
in
is
touch,
ready.
man. Gotcha.
But ladies and gentlemen, before if you can, if the mods in the room can grab Billy's channel and drop it in the chat, or Billy, if you want to drop your channel in the chat, um, definitely on the compliance side. Listen, Well, I like the way that you say it, but I can't remember. You said if it's legal, do it. If it's not, I like the way that you say that. Can you drop that for the crowd?
I can. So because people got to understand, like you said, for information and education purposes only. The three things. Here's my three. Here's the takeaway. You want to think, do your research, take action, have that mentor in your life that you want to emulate, somebody who's already been where you want to go, and you got to ask yourself the question that really matters: is it legal or not? If it's legal, you can do it. If it's not legal, don't do it. Because when you're talking about some of the things that we do talk about, you might not have heard about it. You might not know about tier one. You might not know about some of the other investments that we've discussed that are available privately. And so when you go through the process, get it in writing. There are so many things that are legal, but people don't bother looking at the documentation. And it ends up costing them money. Like when I'm talking about compliance, I'll show you what the actual law actually says. I'll show you what the judge actually made the ruling on, relevant to your jurisdiction. I create those reports personally. It's not something that I'm guessing. It's not something that, oh, maybe. These are things that I know that I know. And there's a tremendous value in knowing that. But ultimately, people got to decide for themselves and then, run with it. If you don't take the action, nothing's going to happen.
Absolutely.
Alonzo, you are simply the best of the best. Period.
I
And
appreciate that.
I'm looking forward to what we're already building and doing, because this thing is going to grow like crazy. Whatever other credential you're going to get, I'm pretty sure you're going to get it. But even if you didn't, I would still rock with you because I already know. Outside of your Mercedes fetish, you're a good dude.
That's all right.
Not
I
gonna
do
hold
have
that
that
against you.
Mercedes fetish.
But yeah, good talk, man. You can hit me up privately so we can talk about the other thing that we didn't even get into.
Okay.
2026 it's already here.
Yeah. It's here and it's hidden.
Yep.
It is here and is hidden. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and close out. It's your boy, the insurance junkie, your fiduciary fella, the
Wipe ass.
all-star advisor, Alonzo Hall, registered financial consultant, your social media insurance bro. Make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share, share, share. Lastly, to contribute to channel growth, or to schedule an appointment with a licensed financial professional, the links are in the description. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, wipe ass. Work in progress every day and see success. Wipe ass. Work in progress every day and see success. Wipe ass. Work in progress every day and see success. And remember, folks, when people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. Salute.
Peace.